Hello. Hey, what's going on? So it's been a while. It's been a hot minute actually. I don't know when the last time I talked to you was. I feel like it was this month. Was it not this month? It might have not been this month. I don't know. Um, Welcome back to the Talking Journal. I'm your host Christian. As always, that is one thing about this show that's never changed. Um, and it's always been good. Now, I'm gonna see when the last time I talked to you was, because now I'm curious. Um, okay, it was this month. It was April 12th. It's April 28th now. Hi. Um, Sorry it's been a minute, but it's gonna be a while until you see this. I think May 4th is the first day this comes out. Sorry. That you don't get to see it now. In a week though, in a week's time. Um, but yeah, I hope you all saw the trailer that I posted. Did you like it or did you hate it? Tell me. Hope if you didn't like it, don't tell me though. So it's gonna hurt my ego. Um, so the theme of today really is changing your mind, pivoting in a lot of ways. Um, and that's kind of what I'm doing with this show right now. It's convenient because when I was filming this, it wasn't, that's not like I had this idea before I started pivoting with the show. Um, I had changed my mind, we'll get into that later, about something else, and then I was like, "Well, this is a great way to kinda come back in a lot of ways," um, is that I'm pivoting, I'm changing my mind in a lot of ways, ways more than one, I would say, um, and it may not seem that way right now, um, because it's the same old me, it's little old me, but I think I really refocused and recentered what I wanted the show to be, how I wanted it to, like, come out, not come out, but, like, come off maybe or be perceived as, but maybe not that, like, I don't wanna say, like, that's why, but because for a while, I was posting things that didn't make me satisfied, like, there was a brief switch, I believe, and you can go back and look, uh, yeah, it was right after it was the ACT and the car problems episode, March 5th. And then after that was just off. Every time I would film, I would leave the episode more upset, I would say, or kind of disappointed. You know what I mean? Because I didn't like what I was putting out. I just was more angry with myself and not myself, I guess. I was just like, this wasn't fun for me. And before, when I first started this show, I was happier leaving than I was when I entered. And sometimes, like, what day was that? It doesn't really matter. I'm getting off track. Excuse me. Um, like for example, the career dilemma, the should I stay in my comfort zone or get a new job? That episode, I remember I left the episode feeling not accomplished, but kind of like accomplished. I left feeling satisfied, I would say, fulfilled. That's the right word, is fulfilled. And yeah, so I'm entering this new chapter, it feels like. But yeah, I think for a while I was also in a creative block in a lot of ways. Like I was, and you can see that shift in the show where I was just like kind of just updating you on my life and I didn't really know what I was talking about. And I just didn't like it anymore. It did feel, and it's not like, again, the show's not entirely changing. There will be still some episodes like that probably where I'm in a little bit more of a mood, I guess. And I won't like want to sit down and talk about like what is the talking stage? Like there's some, yeah. So yeah, luckily, that's what I'm talking about today. Is just I changed my mind and that's okay. It's kind of like both. I wanted to talk about the kind of mindset behind changing your mind and other people perceiving that. Um, so that's what I'm talking about today. So if that interests you, please stay. But I wanted to, before we start, kind of talk about this new show. A couple weeks ago, actually, it was last week. I was thinking about changing the show entirely. I was like, maybe like, and I was playing with different names and I was like, none of this sounds me. Like, none of this sounds like what I want the show to be. And I just kept coming back to this is what I want the show to be. Like the talking journal, that stays true. All of these things that I talk about on this show are things I journal about. I talk about the ACT, I talk about my car problems, I talk about what is a talking stage and why is it so embedded in today's society and today's, I don't know, modern romance in a lot of ways. Um But I also do just rant a lot. Last night, even, I was so fucking annoyed with where my life was at and just where the household, like my current family and household situation was at. Um, and I just ranted. Is that a word? Ranted? Yeah, I just ranted. Um, for like 6 pages. Like, that is still my life, and that is still very me, but it's not what I wanna solely put out. Every now and again, it's fun to little complain a bit, but nobody wants to watch that, nobody wants and I don't leave feeling any better. Sometimes I do, but, like, when I'm just like, "Well, gotta film an episode, so I'm gonna talk about the ACT and my car problems," that's not what I want the show to be. So, I've been thinking, and I have ideas you will see soon. You will see in the trailer. Obviously, you have already seen that. By now, I haven't finished the trailer. I need clips for the trailer that will come out of the episodes that I'm filming this week. But I have already made the cards and all that stuff, and the ideas there. It's just don't look at my dirty sock. Um, it's just I need to film the episodes and get them done, and I'm feeling inspired right now. I'm feeling motivated. I just want to talk. So I'm here now. Um, but yeah, so like I said, I was losing what I was getting out of this podcast, and I don't know. I would end filming like worse off than I was. And I'm just excited to be at this point where now I'm recentering and finding what I want the show to be and channeling that constantly. Like that is solely what the talking journal is. It doesn't need to be rebranded 100 times. I thought about like going back to Shut Him Up. Does anyone remember that era? I had a podcast called Shut Him Up. That was actually a fun podcast. I kind of missed that thing. Not really, because I never did video on that one, and it was kind of just me talking. But I sometimes I didn't like it. So mm, no, but I found like a thing on my mom's Facebook of God, does this kid ever shut up? Um, and I thought that was fun. I thought it was like homage. It paid homage to me as a me as a kid and to shut him up in general. But anyway, I'm here now, and I'm pivoting into a new wavelength of episodes. Um, there will be one every Monday. I'm committing to that. And if I ever plan on not posting or taking a break, I will let you know. Um, it won't just be abruptly. The questions will still be posted. They'll be posted on Sundays on Instagram and TikTok at the Talking Journal. Um, so yeah, today I just wanted to talk to you about changing my mind because when in doubt, and I live by this, when in doubt, pivot. Um, I think as I get older, I'm learning it's okay to like change my mind in a lot of ways. Um, and I feel like we live in a time, not even just like my scenario or my situation, I guess, but as a whole, like holistically speaking, as a society, I feel like it's viewed as changing your mind as not good. I'll give examples because you're probably like, what? Everyone we live in a woke society of everything's welcome. Not really. Um, like think about it. When you were in high school, did you have a guidance counselor that was like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this? What college are you going to? The fuck? Get your shit together. That's kind of where it's at, and I don't feel like it should be. Um, and there's just such a negative connotation around changing your mind and not even changing your mind, but just knowing what you want to do. And the thing about the world we live in now is we're all about quick. We're all about hustle, 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 get it done, which is great sometimes. Um, But that has a downside. Like I said, examples when you're in high school, several adults expect you to know what you want to do with your life, where you want to live, where you want to go to school, like what you want for your career. Another example is like knowing if you want to settle down and have a partner and potentially have kids. I feel like we live in a society where it's more welcome now to not want to settle down and not have kids, but I still feel like people expect you to know when you're younger. Like one of the questions I ask when meeting somebody is not like right away, obviously, but it's just something I'm curious about is like if the person wants to have kids. That's it doesn't I'm not like I don't swing one way or another with that. I think it's great either way. If you want to have kids, great. If you don't, great. Like even better, who cares? I'm just curious like what type of people I'm talking to, you know what I mean? Um and I feel like that negative connotation around not having kids is still present, but I don't feel like it's as present. At least I don't see it. Maybe it is, but I feel like Gen Z culture like really kind of brought that down that you don't need to have kids. Like a woman's purpose is not to settle down and have children and just stay at home. Like that is not yeah. But I get it. Like changing your mind about like these things comes with a negative connotation, and I understand that perspective, but I don't. At the same time, I really, really don't understand it because one, not your fucking business anyways. Bud the fuck out of someone's life. Like their decisions do not impact you at all. And I feel like we as a society really just think we have a say in someone else's life, kind of. Like I remember my grandma would tell me stories or like about how my uncle would change and I would have an opinion on that. And it's like, not your fucking life. Like, I think, or maybe it was my mom who changed her major and my mom told me about it, not my uncle. Never mind. Sorry, scratch that. It was my mom and my mom told me about it. And I was like, wow, it's kind of and I think my mom too had said like it was really irresponsible. So at the start of my life, that's what was instilled in my mind was changing your major, changing your mind kinda is it's frowned upon, I guess, and it's viewed as like immature or irresponsible. It makes someone look like a mess, but that's just not the case. While they might not know what they want to do with their lives, or excuse me, if they want to have kids, if they want a traditional career, if they want to go into like a creative job, like an artist or something, like I feel like that doesn't mean they're immature, irresponsible, and it doesn't mean they're a mess. Like it just means their path doesn't look like maybe a traditional path, you know what I mean? And I think now more than ever is showing more creative jobs and different jobs that aren't a traditional like 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? So I think that's beautiful. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted to talk about this today because I've changed my mind on a lot of things. Um People, for example, I've just changed my mind about people as a whole, I feel like. Like, for example, there was a girl at my school who I thought was a jerk and just was a all around rude person for no reason. But then when I got my job that I have now in October, she was actually working there. And now I get along with her great. Like I would consider her a good friend of mine. And I think that like admitting that you're wrong about somebody is okay. Like it as humans again, we don't like to be wrong about things and maybe not be wrong but like admit we're wrong too. Like I admit I was wrong about this girl. Like a lot of and my friends still think that she's like a jerk and like mean, but I don't think so. Like I see things now knowing her that I didn't know before. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know her family problems. I didn't know like her relationship problems or the fact that like her friends treat her like shit. Like you don't know these things and until you really get in it. And it's okay to change your mind. Like before, I thought she was a jerk, but now I don't think that way. Like, I mean, maybe she is, but I guess I really understand it more than I did, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, I understand that it's might not all be her fault, that like she gets all defensive or treats people like with a guard up first or like insults people. Like that is deep rooted in other people's insecurities and their family problems and other things like that. Like it doesn't necessarily mean it's the problem with the person they're talking to themselves. So I changed my mind about that. Foods, it could be like changing your mind could be as simple as foods. Like recently, I think as of this year, maybe it was last year, I started liking bacon. Also came with my job that I have now. We do Sunday brunch, and I had bacon, and it was bomb as hell. And I eat bacon to this day now. It's great. I love it. Um, I'm trying to think of another food that I've changed my mind about. Tomatoes, I think. Maybe not entirely changed my mind about tomatoes, but I had a tomato or I had tomatoes in my salad last week and I thought it was good. So I'm trying to think of another food, but I can't right now. Um, like it's okay to change your mind, but the biggest one I think, and the reason that I wanted to make this episode separate from the podcast and me changing my mind about what I wanted that to look like was my career pathway. And I guess my job, not my job right now, but the job that I want later in life relating to the classes I'm taking now. So, like I said, I think people believe there's a negative connotation around changing your mind because the cost of this could be high. Like if you're in school, it can be seen as irresponsible if you spend like a year's worth of tuition working towards a degree just to ultimately change your mind. Um, but I don't think it's all that bad. I think once you learn your lesson with that, it can suck, but at least you didn't get stuck doing something you didn't like. I feel like that's more, I would say, more irresponsible to stay in something that you didn't like and know you weren't going to like, all because you were scared of being wrong, scared of changing your mind. Or like that seems more immature to me than like maybe I'm wrong in that sense, but I feel like sticking with something that you hate and don't want to do and know you don't want to do, just because you are scared to admit you were wrong about something, that seems like immature. And it feels like the wiser choice to pivot and do something else, something you enjoy doing. Um, and like I said, I think it's common for this to happen now. Like change your major. I feel like isn't there a statistic out there where it says like 50% of people like change their major at least once? I'm pretty sure that's a statistic. What? I'm gonna look it up now. Percentage of people that change their major. I feel like it's high. But I could be wrong. Change their major. Change their own oil. Yeah. 80% of college students in the United States change their major at least once. 30% change it within the first 3 years. So there's that for you. That statistic proven by Google AI. Um, it's actually the National Center for Education, NCES statistics says that. Um, so if that's wrong, argue with them. Don't argue with Google AI and don't argue with me. I just looked it up. Simple Google search, by the way. My experience is a bit different. I remember 8th grade, I went to go visit what we call the Career Academy. Our school district has this thing that they like this building they built downtown and renovated, and it has like all these different types of hands-on classes. I think the ones I took were the medical pathway classes. So what was the first one? Principles of biomedical science. Then it was human body systems. Then it was medical interventions. They have fire services classes. They have education classes, they have computer tech classes, they have fashion design and analysis classes, they have a whole bunch of other classes, English classes, AP Chem. I don't think they have AP Chem. That's a lie, but I know they have AP Physics, college physics. Like they have advanced classes or hands-on classes that you wouldn't be able to take otherwise that you can take for free, no cost to you at all. Like I said, I went through the PLTW pathway, which was the biomedical science, human body systems, and medical interventions. That's the order they go in. That's the way I took them. And then that was fun. I kind of liked those classes. I liked some more than others, but I was just, yeah. But then I transferred to a different pathway after I maxed all those out. That was the only medical classes they had besides certified nursing assistant, which I decided to take at a college campus, again, free. They have my school district has a partnership with one of the local colleges in our area. Again, no cost to us. Blessed for that. Such a lucky person. And what a lucky program that is. So I took CNA, which my certificate's here. If you guys are watching the video version, here it is. I got it. Um, and then what else did I take? Oh, I took Essentials of Anatomy and Physiology. Now, those classes, I liked CNA more than I liked anatomy, because it was more hands-on, care-based and not as science-y based, I feel like. And I think the programs that we have now and the pathway I took the nursing pathway, which you had to take, sign up for your sophomore year. It's a 2-year pathway. That consists of a bunch of different classes that relate to the nursing thing. Because I was going to take the nursing associate's degree. Um, Sorry, I'm looking up the pathways now. I was going to take the nursing associate's degree, which consisted of nursing one, anatomy, all these things. Um, they didn't, the college in my area didn't, what's it called? Like have those classes available. I don't really know why still they don't have them. Um, like why wouldn't you start nursing when they had like nursing 3 and nursing 4, but obviously you can't go into nursing 3 and 4 without going into nursing 1. So yeah, I don't know. They also could have just not had it available during those times. So that could have been why. So I ended up doing the nursing pathway, and it was between the nursing pathway or the mental health, social work, and crime pathway. So I ended up choosing the nursing pathway, which included nurse aid theory and clinical, essentials of anatomy and physiology, medical terminology. I already took that. Nutrition, clinical pathology for allied health, human anatomy and physiology one, medical law and ethics, pharmacology online, anatomy and physiology two, transcultural concepts in health and illness. Now, like I said, I took medical term. I'm in nutrition and clinical pathology now. And ever since I've been in those two classes, since honestly like day 5, I was like, this isn't for me. I was like, I'm gonna try my best to pass, but these classes aren't for me. I kind of knew that with like I said, essentials of anatomy and phys. I was just bored the whole time. I was like, I don't really feel like I'm really interested in learning this. Um, and I don't feel like that therefore translate to me actually learning. I feel like when you're interested in the subject, you learn a lot more. Does that make sense? Um, so then I was like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. So I was thinking, well, what do I like? So I went on our college program, high school college program that has it's called Zello. I don't know if anyone else uses it or not. Like any other schools use it. So if you're in school and you use it, let me know. But basically, back a couple years ago now, I feel like I was a sophomore when I took this, like early sophomore. They had us take this like career, like not readiness, but career matching quiz. So it would match you up. So I went there to look at them. But then I was like, okay, great. It's telling me physician, mental health, counselor, and teacher. Awesome. What do I do with this? Like, I don't know which I want to do. So I was thinking, well, I've taken a lot of classes by this point. Which one did I like the best? And I kept going back to the psychology classes. I took psychology. Was that my freshman year? I fucking took psychology my freshman year. I can't remember. But I took intro to psych online. Psychology was in person. But I know I took intro to psych online, the college class. That class was fine. It wasn't my favorite class of all time, but I did like certain units in that class. Um, and at the end of our class, my professor asked, what was your favorite unit? And then I had told her I really liked this unit and this is why. And she was like, you should take this class, which is like this unit expanded like into oblivion. Like there's so many units in this unit in this class. It's called abnormal psych. And I remembered every time that I would read that class, we had like 1 week to read, do like three things on the quizzes. Um, I was marked tardy in AP Lit. What? Um, so I remember I loved that class, and we only had a week to do so many of the things though, which that was frustrating. But I really did like that class. We talked about I remember one of the units, the eating disorder unit stuck out. But one of the craziest units we learned about was like why pedophiles and like all this, like, and I think we had a racist unit, like where people were racist and like transphobic and stuff. Like we learned about that and how deep psychologically that goes back. So I did love that class. And yeah, but then obviously I was like, well, I need to decide if I need to do this nursing pathway because I have fucking 2 years to do it. Like, you need to sign up now if you want to finish it. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't get my fucking degree. So this is the next best thing. And that was one of the things when I went in eighth grade to tour the building, the Career Academy, was there was this girl that came up and talked to us about how she was getting her associates. And I was like, that's what I want to do. Then I realized that was not in my range of possibility. That wasn't gonna happen. So I don't know if she used a cheat code or some shit, or if she did nursing one online. I don't know. But yeah, I took abnormal psych and I fucking loved that class. I loved psychology in person. Intro to psych was okay. It was my favorite one. I much preferred psych and abnormal psych. Abnormal psych was my favorite by far. So then I was like, well, let me rethink what I'm doing here. So I went back to the college pathways that I was telling you earlier about and how I was in between both of them. So I went to the mental health, social work, and crime one because I was like, okay. And I remember passing by. This was like a month ago now that I started passing by this class, because our class got moved for pathology into a different class, and I remember passing by this class and it had diversity on it. I was like, this looks like fun. Like they did this presentation, and I was like, I really want to do that class. Like they look like they're having way more fun than I do. Like, and the material sounds more interesting. And the first class on this list was diversity. So there's diversity, intro to soc, intro to psych, already took that. Med, men, women, and society, drug use and abuse studies, co-occurring disorders, trauma resilience, study of alcohol and abuse, social problems, forensic psych, social work and interactive skills, sociology of deviant, defiance, deviance. I don't know. So I was like, those sound fine. I mean, they don't, I like the first few, but I didn't really like the crime aspect as much. I more liked the mental health portion, maybe social work a little bit, but one of the top careers that I've always had was therapy. I always wanted to be a therapist for, it was always between therapist, something in the medical field, don't know what that was, and what's the other one? Oh, teacher. Those were kind of all my things. So I was like, well, let me go look at the psychology associate degrees. I was like, well, I can't get my nursing degree, so I'm just gonna like look at the psych degrees and their requirements on it. And who knows, maybe I could get an associate's. Hey, I know that's right. No, but I looked and I was like, this is very possible for me. I'll read you the requirements. I'm taking comp 1 and 2 next year. So that's a requirement on these. So won't have to worry about that. Intro to philosophy, intro to sociology, intro to psych, already took that. Stats, which I'm not excited about, but we're doing a stats unit in Algebra 2 right now, and it's the best, easiest unit we've done all year. Granted, it's an intro unit, so take that with a grain of salt. Comp 2, public speaking, I already took that. Developmental psych, diversity, intro bio, or essentials of anatomy and physiology. Guess who took that last semester? Abnormal psych, social and child or social psych and child psych, intro to ethics and interpersonal communication. Now, like I said, I did take a big chunk of those classes off. I took essentials of anatomy, I took abnormal psych, I took public speaking, I'm taking comp 1, comp 2, um, and intro to psych. That's a term right there, if not a term and a half to 2 terms done. I feel like that's 2 terms. Um, so I was like, well, let me see if this is doable. So I map it out and it's possible. It is possible for me to do this associates in psych by the time I graduate high school. And besides bragging rights that I got an associates before I left high school, it also translates into different careers. Like you can get different careers with that. Um, like a psychiatrist aide, you can get a teacher aide, which I don't know if I'd want to be a teacher aide now. Like I just don't see myself being a teacher that much. Like just they get so underpaid for what they do. And like all the kids in my classes, I'm like, God, like more power to the teachers that put up with this because I could not. Um, so yeah, like I said, these classes this semester really secured the deal. So I made a plan. I mapped all these out on a Google Sheets to see if this would fit. I went to all the classes on My College Now, which is our college class request site. And then once I got all that shit together, all of the classes online highlighted in different, like when they were available and if they could fit into my schedule, then I emailed my counselor, my guidance counselor, and I was like, here's what I want to do. I'm not happy with the classes I'm taking, and I'm pretty sure on it. I took a good 3 weeks to really decide. I was watching videos, I was researching about it, and I was like, this just seems more fun to me than what I'm taking now. And it's not just me on a whim. I'm like, I did love abnormal psych, I loved psychology. I kind of liked intro to psych. That was my least favorite out of the three, but I loved those classes and I want to do that again. Like that I love learning about how the brain works and how behavior is influenced by that. Like that is the science. I'm more behavioral science, I guess you could say, than like science, like physiological science. Like that shit is just so crazy. And I just don't love science. I like the science of like social sciences. That's what I love is social sciences. So then I um got all my shit together like I said and I emailed her and I said, um let me read the email to you. I titled it Change of Pathway question mark. I spent an hour. No, it wasn't an hour. It was a good 45 minutes writing this email of how all this could fit and hyperlinked the program requirements and all this and all that. And then she responds literally 30 seconds later and said, um, oh, okay. Well, now that I'm looking at it, it wasn't 30 seconds later. It was 2 minutes later. So still pretty early. But she said, let's talk in person. Can you come by fourth of period today or sometime tomorrow? And I said today would work or tomorrow would work better. I'll be in after 10:30 ish, so anytime between them and 1:22 works. Let me know when that works for you. She said sounds good. Just think it'd be easier to meet in person and work through the logistics. If I'm not in my office, I'll be in the library. So then I get there the next day and we talked about she did question me at first when I went in there. She was like, are you sure? Like 2 classes and you're gonna quit? You want to change just because you don't like 2 classes? I know myself, okay? I'm not gonna be happy in this field. Or maybe I would, but like not as happy as I think I'd be in this field. And this, by the way, this is the time to change. I don't pay. I've gotten like like thousands and thousands of dollars. I want to say I'm up to like 10 now. It's at least 8, 5 to 8, but I'm pretty sure we're up to 10 now. Classes that I've gotten online and in person for free from grant money. So shout out that. While I'm in high school, like I didn't pay a dime. The only thing I paid for, I did pay one time. I think I paid 210, I want to say, for a college textbook for elementary Spanish because I didn't take Spanish in high school while I was in my first 2 years of high school. So that fucked me over. And I was like, well, I need to get into college somehow. So that's what I took to get my credit back. And I got 4 credits for that. Yes. But all that to say, I made sure I wanted to change before I emailed her because I didn't want to change my mind again. But then I was like, so fucking what if I change my mind again? Who fucking cares? Like, this is the time to do it. So then I walked in and she wasn't as rude as I thought she was gonna be. She was more receiving than I thought. But I think she like genuinely understood that this is what I wanted to do and she could see it that this is what I wanted to do. So I changed it. She did ask me where I wanted to go to school and all that, and I still didn't have an answer for her. But that's not like the end of the world to not have an answer when someone asks you this question. Like millions of the residents at my job ask me where I'm going to college, and I don't have an answer. I literally do not have an answer. Sometimes I get knee deep and I really start looking at them, but sometimes I'm like, I'll figure this out later. Like, that's not to just excuse it and be like, I don't care. I do care. It's just like I don't care enough right now to let it stress me out. I have other shit to worry about. Okay. Like, I dead ass have like an assignment due. So, like, I don't know where I'm going to go to college. I'm more worried about the essay I have due tomorrow. So, it's just leave me the fuck alone about it. So stop asking me where I want to go to college. I'm a fucking junior. Relax. When I was a sophomore and everybody asked me about it, then I really let loose. I was like, I'm a fucking baby. Don't ask me this question ever. It's just been up my ass ever since I was in fucking freshman year. Like, get out of my ass, please. I don't know where I want to go. Um, so anyway, she said she would email me back later that day and see if all that would fit into my schedule next year. I already knew it would. But that's okay, whatever. You don't want to read the email, that's fine. But I emailed her 3 days later on Friday. I met with her on Tuesday, and said, hey, I came in, talked to you Tuesday, and you said you were gonna check all this, all that. Just wondered if you had gotten to it. I know you're busy because we had state testing that week. And she said, sorry, it has been crazy busy. I'll have an answer for you by Monday or Tuesday. She texted me Monday morning and said, I have your classes mapped out for next year, but waiting to hear from the college registrar on approval for the associate's degree. I said, I appreciate it. Hopefully they approve and it goes smoothie. Smoothie? Oh, I want a smoothie now. Hey, I want a smoothie now. No, and it goes smoothie. I fucking said it again. It goes smoothie. That's it. Podcast is ending. I'm done. Goes smoothly. Um, and that would be just great. If that did go smoothly, she still hasn't responded. Granted, it's only literally been one day. It's been 24 hours since I sent that email. So, the I appreciate it email. Don't know how long the college has to take to see if we can get approval for this. But if that does happen, that would be great. I'd be eternally grateful because that would knock 2 out of those 6 years of school to be a therapist. Um, so I'm really excited about this, and I think that I'm learning. And I think problem with changing your mind, for me anyway, I'll just say, and again, I'm literally just turned 17 last month, so give me a fucking break. Um, but I think the problem with changing your mind and the issue with it for me, like I said, is just that, like, kind of me being afraid of being wrong. Like, I just don't, and because I told everybody, I've been told everybody since 8th grade that I'm going to the medical field, and people receive that very well. People don't really receive being a therapist very well. Everyone's like, "So, like, a physical therapist?" No. Nope. A traditional mental health therapist, maybe family, maybe marriage, and family therapist or counselor or whatever. But I'm just like, this is my path, and changing my mind about it is my choice. Nobody else has a say in this but me. I'm the one, at the end of the day, I'm going to be the one living with my decision. So who cares if people are like, wow, that's really irresponsible that you changed your mind? Well, that's really fucking dumb. Okay. So what? That's immature. I thought you had your mind set on this. Why would you change your mind now? Luckily, I am in a position now where I can change my mind. Like, I don't have people in my ear telling me that, not to my face anyway. But I also like actually had not majority, but I had a good chunk of these done already. So where I could change my mind. And even if I wasn't going to get the associate's degree, I still think I would have done this pathway anyway. I would have switched because I'm just not happy with mine right now. And yeah, I think there's such I've said it 7,000 times already in this episode that there is a negative conversation and connotation around changing your mind, especially when it comes to like college, how you live, your career, etc., having kids, moving. Like sometimes, like if my mom were to be like, I don't want to do this job anymore. I don't care if I've been here 10 years. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to pack up and leave to fucking California for fuck's sake. She could do that. Ooh, why is my Apple Pay going off? She could do that, and people wouldn't receive that well, but if that ultimately makes her happy, who cares if people don't fucking receive that well? So, at least at the end of the day, she's the one who has to live with that decision, so she should do what's best for her. So, that's kind of where I'm at with that. Now, like I said, I've just been changing my mind and trying to learn and retrain my brain to think that it's okay to change your mind. Like, I'm trying to think of a more simple example, like change your mind what you wanna have for dinner, or I don't know, like, so and some of the best things in my life have come from me changing my mind. An example would be like, I was just like I thought, like, when I left my job that I would, um, stay part-time at that job when they needed me at my fast food job because they were, like, begging me to stay and were willing to give me this raise and everything to stay part-time. But in originally, I was like, "Yeah, I guess I'll do that." But then I was like, "No, actually, I don't wanna do that, and actually, I don't wanna stay here. Fuck you guys. Like, no offense. Thanks for the however much money I got from this job, but I'm gonna leave now. Like, I'm changing my mind. I'm doing this because this is what I wanna do right now, and, like, I just changed my mind, and I was like, "This is okay." Like, I'm doing this, and this is the best job I've ever had. Granted, I've only literally had 3 jobs, so take that with a grain of salt, but that's the goal, is to your next job to be the best job you've ever had. Maybe this won't be the best job I've ever had, but like I said, or not like I said, but it could be like my favorite job for a different reason, like I could love being a therapist, but I could still love like my job now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not that I'm just gonna do this part-time, but um I would love it for different reasons. So anyway, I think it is in a way like admitting you're wrong, but us as humans, we don't like to be wrong. But if that is the deciding factor if we're going to be happy or not, I think absolutely change your mind. And if anyone's ever giving you bullshit for changing your mind, like, oh, you spent all this time and you're just going to give up or just change it now, do it. If you think at all that that would change the outcome of your happiness in your life, do it. Fucking do it. Ignore literally everybody else. Um, Only you know what's best for you. And I think in your heart, you do truly know that, even if you want to deny it. Like, with this, I'm like, well, this whole time I've kind of wanted to do it, so I probably do want to do it. No. Once you do deep soul searching, or like this could apply to people you want to be romantically involved with. You know what I mean? Like, say that you like have this boyfriend or girlfriend that you don't really like being with. You're like, I don't like hanging out with this girl. I and yeah, we've dated for 5 years, but I just don't see it working out ever for us. Change your mind. Like, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna sting real bad at first, but ultimately later, future you will be happy you made that decision. And that's kind of all I have to say is just change your mind. It's okay. Like, it's okay to change your mind, but it genuinely is. Like, don't let other people get in the way of changing your mind, and don't let yourself get in the way of changing your mind. So, and that's my TED talk for today. Thank you guys. Later. No, but thank you all for listening to this episode. It's happy to be back. I'm sad that I won't be posting this right away today. But I'm excited for you to listen to it and see it later. Um, Thank you all for letting me change my mind and being okay with that. Um, because that is so important and so special. So special to have that. So thank you guys all for listening. I have so much gratitude that I get to change my mind, and that I get to change my mind, that I actually do get to change my mind, and that I just get to come here and talk about it. And yeah. So anyway, thanks all for listening. Let me shut the fuck up now. Shut him up. I'll see you guys next Monday. See you next Monday. Bye. Bye bye.